Radical Islam is just not congruent with American culture, and that's a fact. It's not racism, it's not Islamophobia, it's not an observation. Radical Islam and the tenets of Sharia law are not consistent with the cultures of dozens of countries on this planet: China, Russia, all of Europe, whether they want to admit it or not, because Sharia law is mainstream Islam, whether the media here want to acknowledge that or not as well. Under Sharia law, a woman is considered half a man. If a woman is raped, she needs 4 male witnesses to testify on her behalf. Being gay is punishable by death, and fathers can sell their daughters for marriage at any age.
Among them, 9-year-old Pawana. Her father claims he was selling her to feed the rest of the family. Pawana's buyer, who lived in a nearby village, confirmed he was taking the 9-year-old as his second wife.
I'm 55 years old. I have a wife with 4 daughters and a son. I boast her for myself.
It's literally out of the Stone Age, and that's not controversial to say. So that wasn't America, that was Afghanistan. But this is happening here too, and it always starts small out on the fringes. But it's happening in Dallas, Texas. Islamic tribunals have already been formed where things are now being settled not according to U.S. law, but according to Sharia law here in America, and the left doesn't care. Greg Dolezal is a Georgia state senator running for lieutenant governor, and Jay Mitchell is a former Alabama Supreme Court justice running for attorney general in Alabama. Gentlemen, great to have you on. Senator, is Sharia law being practiced on the fringes in Georgia, to your knowledge, right now?
It is not. Thankfully, we're not as far gone as the areas of Dallas, Texas, Plano, Texas, Dearborn, Michigan that you mentioned above. I introduced a bill this year in the Georgia State Senate to ban Sharia law in the state of Georgia, because we do not want to see these tribunals set up. And you had an example of one right there where you have these family law cases and business law cases being adjudicated not by the principles of American laws or the United States Constitution, but foreign laws and foreign court precedences and foreign contracts. And you referenced this, that is just the start. And so we need to ensure that those seeds are not planted anywhere else in America. I'm certainly going to make sure we don't allow them to be planted here in Georgia.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that. You're a state senator, because the left treats this as a right-wing conspiracy theory. Jay, I want to play one of your campaign commercials that's getting a lot of attention. Take a look.
You sneak across the border, be prepared to be sent home. Attack law enforcement, get ready to stare down both barrels. And stand with radical Islam, and you can Allah Akbar your butt all the way back to the Middle East.
Okay, so is this really an issue in a state like Alabama, red state, conservative state?
Yeah, it is an issue. You know, as the state senator from Georgia just indicated, we have a pretty good, vivid demonstration of what we don't want to become. Even here in America, you look north to Minneapolis, to Dearborn, Michigan, to New York, and then we're even beginning to look around to our surrounding southern states that are having real issues with this. It is time to sound the alarm here in Alabama. We have a number of Islamic centers that are cropping up all across the state. We've got to sound the alarm on this. Coach Tuberville, Senator Tuberville, who will be our next governor, has certainly been sounding the alarm on this, and I am too. We've got to make sure that Sharia law does not find its place into any part of our legal system, and we've got to make sure that our society here in Alabama, our way of life, is being protected.
Can I ask you, do you care if somebody labels you Islamophobic?
No. What I stand for Christianity, I stand for America, I stand for Alabama, and I'm proud of all of those things.
Senator, same question to you. Does it bother you if your opponents label you Islamophobic?
Of course not. What bothers me is gentlemen like Muhammad Jallow, a individual who walked into a classroom at Old Dominion University and opened fire, who had previously sworn allegiance to ISIS. What bothers me is that he was not denaturalized and deported. And now we've got dead Americans as a result of that.
All right.
Jay's video there showed the fine gentleman who had immigrated here and become a United States citizen lobbing an IED over the heads of an individual who is saying into a microphone that everyone is welcome here.
Yeah.
And so we have this suicidal empathy in this country where we seem to be completely oblivious that there are millions of people all over the world chanting death to America that want to, as they call it, strike our necks, which means cut off your head. And so that is what I am much more bothered by than whatever label some some Democrat might put on top of it.
Senator, let me play a clip from your campaign spot in Georgia. Take a look.
You are not allowed to drive. Sharia.
Okay, so we've come a long way from the Willie Horton ad. How are people reacting to that in the state of Georgia?
Yeah, I think there's a silent majority here who recognize that we're losing our country.
Yeah.
People recognize that after importing 20 million people from all over the world, having no clue who they are taking our jobs, they're taking our homes. In some cases, they're raping and pillaging entire communities. And it's not just Sharia law, frankly, that we are concerned about. It is the concept of the globalists who do not recognize that not all cultures are created equal, not all countries are created equal, and they are trying to import people from every single country in the world, regardless of whether or not they share ideas that comport with the United States values and the United States Constitution.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. It's a cultural, it's religious, absolutely. We're a Christian country, we have been for 250 years, but it's cultural, and that shouldn't be controversial to say. Jay, just quickly, 2024, two biggest issues in the Donald Trump election were immigration and the economy. Is the rise of radical Islam in your state, Alabama, is that like a dinner table issue now? I've only got 20 seconds.
Yes, it absolutely is.
It is.
I'm very thankful for the way President Trump is leading on immigration policy. We need to support his immigration agenda from the states, and that includes, first and foremost, not allowing people to come from parts of the world who have no cultural compatibility with our country.
Senator Greg Dolezal, Jay Mitchell, we appreciate it.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.